Hello! Thank you all for joining us today for Untitled Theatrics season opener, I Only Feel, Farewell, Farewell, by Laurel Simonson. On behalf of the performer and myself, both operating out of Victoria, British Columbia, we would like to begin by acknowledging with respect the traditional territories of the Lekwungen peoples, as well as the Songhees, Esquimalt, and Wisanish peoples whose historical relationship with the land continues to this day. Even though we are unable to gather in the same space physically right now, we can and we must continue to recognize the history of genocide and colonial violence, as well as actively work to challenge and dismantle the systematic racism and injustices that are still being faced by Indigenous peoples today. If you like what you see, please consider donating to Untitled Theatrics. Your contributions will help us to support emerging artists and to produce the shows that we are passionate about. Thank you for your support. Stay safe and enjoy I Only Feel. Farewell, farewell.
I don't remember the first time, the transition. I can't remember it. It's like I was unconscious, but I wasn't. It was me. I was there. But I don't remember. 2 weeks passed before I started becoming aware again. Probably. The memories from before are like a dream. My father? My mother? Who are they? Sometimes I'll pass something in the street, and deep in my mind, I remember. Like a distant dream. Nothing clear, no vivid memory. Faces are gray and foggy, names unknown. Funny enough, I remember being attacked. I was alone in the library, studying, researching. I don't remember what for. And then flame and agony running under my skin. The pain was so unbearable. I couldn't see or hear. Then nothing. As the transition settled, my awareness slowly came back. I understood that I was changed and that I was overwhelmingly angry. I had been stolen. Me, Byron, had been stolen from me and ripped away and replaced with this bloodthirst. As the haziness of the transformation wore off, I tried to find my family, but everything about them was fading quickly. I ran up and down the streets at night, trying to find houses that looked familiar. Nothing stuck. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know who to talk to. I don't remember the last time someone looked me in the eye. Maybe they knew. Maybe they were afraid. The loneliness was more excruciating than the thirst. I couldn't acquire a job. During the day, I had to sleep. I didn't know how to pass the time. Humans didn't want to talk to me. Months passed. The itch in my throat was slowly growing with no way of avoiding it. But I thought this could be good. Perhaps someone could join me. Someone could understand this feeling with me. I knew that it was painful, but I'd had no one, and they would have me. So I bit her. But you have to understand, she wasn't just a split decision. No, I wouldn't do that to just any stranger. Could you imagine if I damned a father of five? Stealing away the provider for a family? Never. I woke up early, around 6 p.m., to find my companion. I skulked in the main street, looking for someone, someone thoughtful, someone to hold conversation. That night, everyone hid under coats and umbrellas from the chilly rain. Eerie weather. God must have known my plan. Then my eye caught a young woman leaving an apothecary. She paused before taking out her umbrella, just taking in the night and the air. I hesitated to attack. I wasn't convinced she'd be a suitable candidate. She began to walk home, and I followed at a distance. Don't worry, she didn't see me. I didn't scare her. I would never do that. At one point, she stopped and pulled out binoculars from her bag. Tracking her gaze, she was eyeing some birds far away. Skylarks, still visible in the last bit of daylight. I decided to wait until the next evening. People were finishing work, and I saw her leave her shop, completely blithe. I imagined if I were a human, I'd bump into her, pick up the bag she would have dropped. I would smile. She would see that I am, polite, and perhaps romantic attraction could be pursued. But I was not human. Romance did not exist. In that moment in time, I was starving. I waited until she was alone, and I advanced. Resisting the temptation to completely devour her was difficult, but I managed. She squirmed and retched as the venom spread. I observed her transformation, nursed her to awareness. It took around a week until the monster settled. The whole time I waited anxiously for what was to come. I thought, finally, a friend, a friend. I was overjoyed. She was confused at first, like I had been, asked me the what, where, when questions, and I had expected them, but I didn't answer. We had all the time in the world to get to those. But I had bit her. With that realization came her hatred for me. It didn't take long for her to leave. I tried to stop her. I told her she would come back because there was nothing else out for her there. No one would hire us. Nobody would befriend us. Our only purpose was to feast. I told her I was the only one who would understand her. She left anyway. I was alone again. I considered infecting more. I thought, I hoped, perhaps she'd come back. Months passed again. She didn't. When I was thirsty again, I didn't pay attention to who I feasted on.
I couldn't remember my own name after the change. Chose Byron after my favorite poet. I wonder what her name was. As the years go by, I admit, lonely. I like to observe the seasons pass, the beauty and change, watching life, wondering its purpose. I didn't know who I was before the change. I had no preconceived notion about who I was supposed to be. It took a while before I decided that was fine. The unknown, I mean, to be a vampire is to be alone. Guilt. Think sometimes about watching the memories leave her eyes. Her identity was left there on that street where I bit her. Just as my soul was stolen from me. I thirst for blood. The substance that makes up who we are. Did I steal her soul? You were you, and I was I. We were two before our time.